Okay, hi there traders, this is Brad Gilbert with the FX Market Insight for the 5th of December. Now, if you've just turned the screens on, you're going to see some pretty wild movements. Now, one of the key parts to looking at the majors here, if you're just looking at Euro, a nice little clean out of the top side and then straight back down. There wasn't much in the Euro. This is all Brexit. A little bit of positive news, huge amount of bad news, and then a little bit of a correction of some good news. Different articles all day. It's just been whipping around. You can see it's actually stalled at the moment around 127.20. I think everyone's been beaten up and no one wants to play anymore. So wait for the next lead in there. I'll probably expect it up 300 points higher by the end of the week and then down another 200. It's just way too hard to sort of manage your risk around that. The Aussie and Kiwi, now I'll show you the news in a second. We've got these gaps here on Monday when Trump came out and declared China and themselves have got a trade deal. That seems to be a holy baloney, as Donald is out there saying, well, if they don't sign another deal or something, he's going to be a tariff man. So we've seen the dollar yuan, let me just give you a look at that, fall off to the downside. So that has implications once again for global growth. So the dollar is starting to rally against the yuan. Traders aren't truly convinced yet about what Trump's laughing about or trying to make out. If Trump does come back with the tariffs, then it's going to rally another 700 or 800 points to the top side. So it's pretty hard to work out what's real and what's not. With sterling and euro coming off so hard, of course, the dollar index has rallied. Once again, that's 70% of the index. It's come back into the game. So you get a bit of a false break to the downside and straight back up. So these are really crap trading conditions. Check out the global equities here. Dow Jones down 3.1%, the NASDAQ down 3.78%. Now that's part of Trump's jokey stuff, but there's also some tech companies almost taking the mickey out of each other, and they're selling some of the major tech firms. So that's one of the other reasons there why the equities have come off. But you're going to see, should see across the board here in Asia, Australasia, a sea of red on the equities and in Europe as well. There's so much carnage going on. It's a little bit crazy. Now, no major economic numbers have come out. There's some slight PPI numbers there in Europe. Probably helped Euro move to the top side, but then that was just absolutely smashed on the head by that Brexit news. Now, if I give you a look at, just give you a bit of a wrap up here in the MyFX Trading Hub, what's going on. Now, one of the key things that you should always be thinking of first and foremost when you come back to the market, what are trading conditions like? You look at your technical charts and you can see the carnage. There's no fundamental releases yet. They're moving around a couple hundred points. Brexit and Trump are causing chaos, massive storms, no direction, no good trading conditions. I see this sort of stuff, I turn my screens off. Okay, I haven't done it yet because I want to give you guys the update. Now, upcoming events, well, okay, we've got Draghi speaking in 10 hours. I would say he's going to try and calm the market down. Now, Euro is back in the middle of the range, so there's nothing really to get excited about there. It is an important speech, but with all the geopolitical events going on, I can't see him doing too much. UK services PMI, forget this completely. With Brexit going on, it's not going to come into play. The US ISM non-manufacturing numbers, they can come in, but we're going to need significant variance in this current trading environment. Now, the major event of the whole day is going to be the Bank of Canada interest rate decision. And just coming back to look at this, because that otherwise would be a really super trading opportunity. Okay, and then you've got with the, actually that data is probably in the wrong spot. I think it's the way that Aussie one's been put in. Aussie GDP numbers. So let me just come back to the CAD, because when you've got a central bank interest rate meeting, it is very important you are up the curve on what's going on. So if you have a look here on dollar CAD, now I've actually deleted already this amazing trend line we broke on Monday, but let me just put it back in. It's going to give you a bit more perspective of what is actually going on here. So we had this trend line that had about 5 or 6 touches on it. Now the market has retraced back to this level, and it's actually started to churn through. This means to me that everyone who's in this has been beaten up. Now, if you sold here looking for a move down and didn't take profit, you may have got squeezed out on this first run, or you may have thought you were still in, and you definitely would have got taken out here again. Now, we've got stop loss orders triggered on both sides of the market. This is an absolute mess. Oil has hardly moved. right? So dollar CAD's whipping around, potentially more on, well, they're sort of talking about global equities, growth, a whole range of things. But I think this is just headline trading and repositioning on the US dollar. So when the Bank of Canada comes out tomorrow, they're going to start to deal with a situation regarding NAFTA. Okay, did they have a NAFTA deal or not? Inflation's at 2.4%, 4.4% above their band. So they should be raising rates and it should come off. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens with that. Now, just coming back to what the Bank of Canada are expecting, you can come down, if you've got the Reuters, right, you can come down and sort of get a general consensus of what's going on. And the banks and everyone are usually pretty close to the mark with these decisions, especially if it's uniform. Now, if you have a look here, Bank of Canada, well, rate decision, just behind that. So forecast 1.75%, no change. 31 organisations have put in a thing. It's pretty clear the Bank of Canada isn't doing anything whilst NAFTA is outstanding. Okay, so that's probably the major release coming up. And that's where you really want to be sort of keeping a very, very close eye on things. And that's pretty much all we've got. So basically, just come back to the MyFX Trading Hub briefly. Okay, just come down to the general setup of the major pairs outlook from yesterday. Now, when these geopolitical events come in, you can pretty much forget about all of these. They would all be sideways because all the traders will sit back and let this thing just wash around. Now, there is still a little bit of sentiment in there, but there's too many things, too many variables now to seriously quantify if these currencies are going up or down. And it's a bit of a shame because we do have some important numbers coming out, but that's just the way these things are. And that's where you should start to get really pissed off with this whole issue. I mean, Brexit, everyone's sick to death of that already, but Trump sticking his head back in it again, he's obviously got some bad press due to come out domestically, and I'd say he's just ruffling international feathers to try and sort of distract everyone. That's my take on it. So to me, traders, I don't think there's a huge amount of potential in the market. You may see this volatility as being awesome and amazing. As a professional trader, I can tell you, if you can't quantify your risk and direction, especially on these two major pairs which are causing the big problems, then it's probably time to just let them do their stuff. Give it a bit of time. Give it 10 hours. Give it a day. Right? Let this thing settle down again and wait for something to clear up, because at the moment, it's very stormy and very messy. All right, guys, that's it from me. As I said, not great trading conditions, some loopy geopolitical stuff going on. If you have any questions, I'll see you in the trade zone. All the very best. Cheerio.